From what I can figure out, that means, from what I can figure out, we would already be in the most built cosmos. Because when you look around us, so basically, if it's built, I kept on imagining this structure where they build to the biggest point. So imagine past cosmos, where basically you have the universe structures that have the moving points. So as that rotates in a cosmos galaxy, all the other galaxies would rotate and connect, creating a solid structure across the cosmos's Big Bang. Then you have a solid structure where you look at our Big Bang, it's almost empty. So you can logically deduce that we're at the smallest, least built level. But again, like I said before, that would be the top research level, because they would be burrowing down into their particle to build the particle more heavily. And then also you can only build the particle so big. When you imagine the particle, imagine protons, neutrons, electrons, you build too big, it becomes unstable. So technically, imagine we live, I'll call it existence, and that's a planet that is literally made out of cosmoses. It's the most heavily built thing in existence, and there's other versions of them around it. So basically, it just has cosmoses going through the entire center with a giant built core. So everything is as built as it possibly can. Basically, they've built to as far as they can, watched it topple, and then built again, and built again, and built again, until they built something that they literally defend with their life, because they've watched it topple so many times. So the way I imagine it is that around their main core, they test out every version of particle physics, and they literally build it completely. So then around that, they would have their own universe structure too, which would be heavily built. Now, the reason why they would have to have it so heavily built, you're following those logical steps. Look at the observable universe around us and look at where it is leading. So you can deduce that at that top level, they would have been wiped out so many times, their entire universe and planet would be a solid calculator where they calculate every single counter. They've literally had so many wars, so many. This is the level. So basically, how I imagine it would be a solid structure. You would build to the biggest you can, and that was what your planet would be made out of. So it's a solid framework, a solid structure. So around our universe would be the low-level points, because the universe is emitting an electron constantly. And what does electron eat? Gluon. So around our universe, you can deduce that there are mass gluon stars that are the opposing hole. That's where the scientists would be digging downward as far as possible to do research on building heavily in that direction. We're technically going up the universe level to universe galaxy. You're going up the steps the other direction. So you can logically deduce that once you make it to those gluon stars outside of our universe, you've reached the alpha point of our existence's research, because that would be as far built down as they can possibly go. They don't start you at the top, because the way I imagine it, you would have to go up galaxy level, universe level, then you would have to go to universe galaxy, then cosmos, cosmos galaxy, and then you've created, so they would have to connect at a certain point. So at a certain point, you would reach the biggest particle ball they can build without it collapsing. Now, this is the most heavily built existence in existence, one of them. So that means every single particle on the planet would be built to that big point. So that means there would be that much living life per particle across an entire planet that has known so many wars and topplings and everything, that they built that heavy just to survive. So what's the point after that? Well, I'm taking it one step at a time while getting violently attacked. Really makes it way more difficult to think when I'm violently attacked by bird chirps and all this other crap. I'd be literally years ahead. Years ahead of where I'm at right now. But they just violently attack me, and then it just makes me give up on research. So the rich children can get ahead of me. It's very depressing. So the cosmos builders would be the ones that build that entire grouping of particle. Because you can logically deduce you would reach the point of biggest particle. Now, that doesn't mean their planet's not way bigger. That doesn't even mean their moon is not way bigger, or their star's way bigger, or their even universe planet outside of their planet is bigger. What I'm talking about is we would be at the smallest point, so we would be building upwards. So where all we would be at would be inside of one of those particle, building to the top of just a single particle in a planet. And then all of those particles are calculators around the core. So basically, just imagine that, a planet that size, where each particle is bigger than a cosmos and fully built and designed to calculate something. And there's an entire planet of them in every direction, with then living life in another universe around it. And then that repeats again, where those can go to war. So you have to realize at a certain point in existence, they would have to be so heavily built, it would just get more and more built. Otherwise, you get wiped out, you can't survive. So again, looking at the reality around us, you can logically deduce some of this stuff. They would build to the biggest point of particle, then repeat it to make what they know, which is a planet and a star. Then they would make a solar system and universe. Because it would take a solid structure to have a hole in the center, which we're in. We're kind of in a hole where it can cause solar systems to occur because we have so much open space. That means it gets more heavily built on the way up, but where we're at is more open and free because it's not heavily built yet. So that means we start at this level because it's not heavily built like the rest of existence. So more than likely, if they're trying to build an entire planet of those particles, they would want us to raise up and take over the entire cosmos and actually want to build it, because it would take us a time the size of the cosmos with numbers that big for us to even get past the point of cosmos. So we build to the edge of our container, imagine that. And then we start to realize there's these other cosmoses there and they're all connected. So we travel to those. But then it would take us that much time again just to travel around all of those cosmoses. Then it would take us again that time times that time for us just to build up enough particle to get one person or one living life form to even be alive on the surface of that planet, and we would all be in that life form trying to grow up on that planet. And then after we grew up on that planet, we would then have a planetary being we could all branch out from, because most likely that civilization has spread to other versions of that civilization, and onward and onward. So we'd really be stuck at the calculator level for a very long time. Because if we build to the biggest point, the biggest particle we can, we would still just be living in that particle. We wouldn't be able to collect enough of those particles to make a living life form to actually go join the next level. So if we worked as hard as we could build all the way to the size of that biggest particle, but it would take such a massive time to build past that. I'm guessing because they've learned throughout time, when you give any life form that much particle, you have the same problem our rich people have. They don't know how to use it. So it's literally designed in the ladder up to force us to learn. We can build and work as hard as we can, and we'll just be stuck in a bubble particle looking outwards. And we won't be able to collect enough of them to make a bigger being to go join the next level. It literally forces you to learn all about that one particle level before you even start to work on the next level. That way they don't even have to watch all of their children. All of the particles are just building upwards. It's all self-blocked. You can't. And then if they had all of those to the biggest particle point, they would have those fully controlled with a being star in the center. And they would also have one on their main planet. So that means all of those bigger particles would connect. So you could probably travel around those forever, because in those particle would be the history of the entire. It wouldn't be an existence, it would be another level, it'd be cosmos. Well, then cosmos is everything that's ordered. So that would be our cosmos. That would be the cosmos, because that's the point of last ordered. But then technically there's an ordered point past that. So basically in those biggest particles they have in their planet that makes up the core of their planet, the entire, well, the surface all the way down to the core, which then they would have the core built too. So then they would just have all of the different universes and they've ever built inside of that. So if we have that much time to learn and grow, it's probably designed for us to travel around the entire core of the entire planet we live in, going from universe to universe to universe, and seeing every universe that has ever been built. Because if their planet is made out of every universe ever being built, just for them to survive, imagine if they get attacked or go to war. They have to calculate everything. Everything. Otherwise, one mistake can wipe out that much life, which means it's happened to them before. So they've made fixes, redundancies to stop that. So that means everyone on the surface of the cosmos we live in already knows all about all of those universes on the inside, because they've already built them, they've already tested out every version, they've already lived every version. So to get to that next level, you would have to know everything about every universe this cosmos has ever seen or lived to even participate in the next level and be a part of that. So that means it goes solar system, galaxy, Big Bang, universe, then universe, galaxy, which is then in a cosmos, Big Bang, which is then in the cosmos, which then would have to repeat one more time so it can aim, because the universe doesn't have that. Universe, galaxy is just made up of universes. So it'd be the cosmos, which then has a universe added to the bang. So it'd be one past cosmos that actually aims. And then you would build past that point until you got to the biggest particle level they can actually make. So the proton, neutron, electron level, you'd get to that level, and then they would just repeat it infinitely, because there would be an infinite amount of possibilities. So they would be calculating that over and over and over again. It wouldn't just go on forever getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because then it wouldn't be built. It wouldn't be a solid structure. That would just be one big blob, which then the biggest blob point would have to be connected to other similar ones, so that wouldn't work. The bigger it gets, the more complicated it gets from the observable universe around us. Once you step up to Big Bang and universe level, it's so big, it gets more complicated. So you can deduce the next level will be even more complicated. So then you would reach the point of biggest particle able to be built, which is what we live and are born into. We're born into that level. So we're literally designed and made to make those cosmoses. Because at a certain point, it would be on repeat, and then they would make another planet again. Because there would be so many cosmoses, you couldn't just repeat one over and over again. There is no one king, one ruler, one queen. If it just repeated one after one after one all inside each other, that would mean there was one ruler to rule them all, which there is not. Otherwise, our universe wouldn't be shaped that way. Because it's shaped in a sphere, that means it keeps on getting pulled outwards in all directions. If there was just one thing that absorbed everything and it was just emitting light and sucking in light, it'd be wobbling around and sporadic. It wouldn't have structure, it wouldn't be built. But the universe star emitting electron with gluon stars around it creates a solid structure. Then the universe galaxy, then be a bigger version. They all rotate around it, keeping it solid. After it builds to the next level where they can actually aim and connect to each other, creating main flows. And then it would step up to the next energy level. So the next energy level, when you get to galaxies, universe galaxy, would be emitting the energy level above electron. No, it'd be emitting electron because that's what our universe emits, so it needs to suck in that, and the gluon stars between it keep it stable. But then once you get to what the universe galaxy rotates around the cosmos star would be emitting energy levels above electron, which would then wipe us out because it's the main universe galaxy that can even absorb those. Those energy levels would destroy us. So that gets main funneled into the universe galaxy. Which then emits electrons that connect to the universe, which then is held together by gluon stars around it in a solid structure. That's not how the Big Bang works. Even our stars are electron level. And the universe is electron level. But the universe would protect us from electrons one level above electron. So that means our universe is absorbing electrons that are bigger than an electron. But it's not emitting those. Wonder if that means our galaxy is absorbing electrons bigger than electron. Because technically it'd be a main hole, so the bigger electrons would just go straight through it. It wouldn't want to fly through our galaxy and tear holes in our galaxy. It would want to fly through the center galaxy star, which would then emit different levels of energy. Which is then why it's so dark in our Big Bang. Because those electrons bigger than electrons would absorb electrons. No, they should emit electrons. So it'd be even more light out if our galaxies were absorbing those. Because it'd be bigger electrons emitting electrons, which is what the star is. So then, back to that theory, when I was using stars as the next level of electron, because it would be that big, the next level of electron is a single star. Like I was having galaxies go into the universe, the top of the universe, the bottom, you'd have a constant flow of stars to keep the universe connected, which then emits electrons. So the universe would be connected to the universe galaxy with stars, and then you can surmise the cosmos is so big, the cosmos just emits stars. Which then the universe galaxy absorbs stars, emits electrons, but it would have to emit stars to connect to our universe. Which means there would still have to be gluon stars pumping out gluon to hold it together structurally. And then when you go to the next level, because the cosmos is emitting stars, the cosmos would be connected to another cosmos with whatever a bunch of stars pushed together form. Just like a bunch of electrons and particle pushed together and ignited form a star, what would a bunch of stars pushed together form? A star. Which then technically you've just jumped up to cosmos level, which is so big. Technically, the cosmoses would be connected with a star the size of our galaxy star, or would it be the universe star? That'd be way too big. Because our galaxies are connected with electrons. So then universe galaxies are connected with stars. And then cosmos galaxies would be connected with universe stars. Because galaxy stars would just be big electron stars, or normal our stars. Or you'd have to jump up to a next level, which would be universe star. But then you start to overlap so much. You have gluon stars holding the center structure, then you have stars going across, holding universe galaxies to a bunch of universes, so you have stars flying across as much as there. So imagine as many electrons in our solar system. Imagine all of those electrons are stars. So you have all of that floating across the cosmos. Then you have electrons being emitted from those stars. And then you have gluon being emitted from those electrons. Then you have gluon stars. You have universe galaxy stars, cosmos stars. Cosmos stars are connected with universe stars. You get, when you go to the next level, it's going to become more complicated and more built. You are going to have the next level. You're going to have cosmos stars connecting the thing that comes past cosmos stars, and then those are emitting stars along with electron and gluon. But then you would not just need gluon stars connecting everything between the bigger ones, you would need gluon stars plus electron stars creating the framework, and that would be at cosmos level, because the cosmoses are connecting with universe stars. So as a universe star goes, now that would be past cosmos level, so I don't even have a name for that. But when the universe star is connecting two things past cosmos, when the universe star is connecting two cosmoses, then technically the universe star is emitting stars. And you go up to the next one, and a cosmos star is emitting universe stars, which then emit stars, which then emit electrons, which then emit gluons. So then that means as it flies by to feed itself and stay structurally sound, you would need gluon stars pumping out gluon stars to keep the electrons stable. You would need stars pumping out electrons to have enough electrons to feed the universe stars so they can continue to emit stars. And then technically when you get to cosmos stars, the cosmos star is emitting universe stars. So technically you need enough universe stars, or you would need enough below universe star. You would need enough stars emitting electron just to feed the universe stars, to where the universe stars could even stay stable and feed the cosmos stars. So again, you can deduce, you can logically figure out we're at the starter base level that is designed to not be overwhelmingly complicated. Because it would just get more complicated and more complicated on the way up. And then when you actually reach the surface of a planet that is made of cosmoses, every single cosmos, those beings have ever thought of, ever built, all grouped into one calculator, one planet. You have to learn it all.